Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Good grief. There's so much news out there, it's nuts. Yeah, we've got chaos and change, especially at two big programs, Alabama and Ohio State. Wow, I'm talking major news. Ohio State's dealing with a coordinator situation, two of them, and then Alabama is bringing two guys back together that might be an issue for the SEC. And let's start with the Alabama news first. And this is all over the news. Alabama's hiring Ryan Grubb back as offensive coordinator. And if you'll remember, Grubb was with DEBOER at Washington the last 2 years there where they had all that success. And then, of course, he got hired at Seattle as an offensive coordinator because, honestly, an NFL life is usually calmer and easier. But Grubb got fired right after the first season. So then he's available. And, of course, KALEN DEBOER had his struggles. I'm not sure that was all on him. Might have been a QB issue. We talked a lot about that I wasn't really sure that Milroe was the right fit for that offense, and it turned out to not be. So Ryan Grubb and KALEN DEBOER, they're a lot like this.
From that day on, we was always together. Jenny and me was like peas and carrots.
Yeah, like peas and carrots, no doubt. And this is going to be real interesting because when you get your offensive coordinator right, that makes things a lot easier. You know, KALEN DEBOER is sort of a laid-back dude. That's one of the things he's taken some grief about at Alabama, not being fiery enough. Well, my understanding is that Grubb is. So maybe that was sort of his right-hand guy, sort of his good cop versus bad cop is what I'm hearing. So this is really good news probably for Alabama, and I think the rest of the SEC is very happy for them as well.
Bobby, I'm so happy for you. Thank you. Thank you both very much. I owe you both a debt of gratitude.
Oh, yeah, they can't wait. We've got to play them this year, so it's going to be difficult. And having their offensive coordinators got me a little bit uncomfortable, honestly. But you don't know what's going to happen. You know, it may be DEBOER moving into the SEC was an issue for him. You know, they've been playing out there at Washington where, you know, the competition wasn't that tough. Wasn't they? They were in the Pac-12, I think, before that all collapsed. Now the question is, what are they going to do with Nick Sheridan, who was the offensive coordinator last year for only 1 year? So this is a difficult situation. I think they're going to keep Nick Sheridan, but that's going to be uncomfortable as crap. I would think Sheridan will be looking for a gig. It's really hard to be demoted. It's not going to be comfortable, and I don't think it'd be comfortable for Grubb either. So I would expect him to probably leave at some point, and probably with a nice big fat paycheck to go with it. So a lot happened in Alabama, and the Alabama people are happy. They're very happy.
February 2nd, 2025, Christmas came to Tuscaloosa. The dynamic duo is back together. Coach KALEN DEBOER and Ryan Grubb, baby. I am elated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kangaroo is very happy. Hopefully when we play him, he won't be that happy, but dang. I knew this was going to happen. There was no doubt. All right, now we need to talk about Ohio State. They've had huge news. First, they lost their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, to Penn State. That's number one. Then Chip Kelly, their offensive coordinator, heads to the Raiders of all places. I might actually watch the Raiders this year. They're my team, and I hadn't watched them in years because they suck. And their owner's terrible. But with Chip Kelly, who knows? But I think Ryan Day's feeling a lot like this.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to lose both your coordinators. I mean, that's your continuity. You know, this is part of winning a national title. Everybody comes running to poach your players, poach your coaches, whoever you can get. And here's the other issue. Ohio State's got a bit of a financial problem. It's not impossible for them to deal with. I'm not calling them out to be, you know, poor and they can't fix it. Of course they can. They're the most valuable program in the country. But it's tricky. You don't have unlimited money. And Ohio State, they lost $38 million last year. They had $254 in revenue and had over $290 million in expenses. So $38 million shortfall. So that's one big issue to deal with. But here's the other one. In 2025, you got to do revenue sharing. That's another $21 million. Plus, you got to pay $2 million in compensatory damages to players that weren't able to make money from 2016 forward, I believe. And then you got to have extra scholarships. It's almost $30 million right there, and you got to do that every year. So they're sitting here with $38 million shortfall. They got to come up with an extra $30 million like everybody else does. And then everybody's trying to poach your coaches and offer them more money. So I would say Ryan Day and Bjork, who is their athletic director, said, look, we don't have unlimited money. We can't pay an assistant, $3, $4, $5 million, and then this assistant $3, $4, $5, $6 million, which is what an NFL program can do. Chip Kelly probably got a huge raise, and we know Jim Knowles did. So my understanding is they're going to basically promote Brian Hartline, who was their wide receivers coach, who did a great job last year and has for a long time, to offensive coordinator. Now, when you start moving pieces around and you've got a national title type team, that's tricky. I don't know if they'll have a pullback next year or not. I really don't. But the continuity's not there as much as it was. So look, it's part of success. Ohio State fans, this is what Nick Saban dealt with every year. And somehow over a 15-year span, he won 6 titles. So when you win, you're going to have a mass exodus, and there's nothing you can really do about it unless you have just unlimited funds. And virtually no team has that. Maybe a Texas, that would be about it, or maybe Oregon because they've got that Nike money. But, at some point you've got to be financially responsible. And paying assistants insane amounts of money just to keep them is probably not the best bet. And, Bjork is in a bit of a bind, honestly, just like every other athletic director. I'm not just pointing out Ohio State on this. Every athletic director and president, they're dealing with some serious financial issues with this new revenue sharing and that whole settlement and more scholarships. And that money's got to come from somewhere. So anyway, ton of news happening at Ohio State and Alabama. Heck of a day. I know Alabama's thrilled to have GRUBB back with DeBoer. That's,
We're putting the band back together.
They're putting the band back together. Yep. And Ohio State, they're going to be fine. But this does kind of suck for them. Honestly, it just does. I would not be happy about it, but I would trade it. If I could have the national title for Tennessee, but we had to deal with coordinator issues, I could deal with that. It wouldn't be that big a price to pay. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all of these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit this little button right here. It will not cost you a dime, and it'll help you get my videos. Pretty good deal, especially with the inflation the way it is today. Can't beat free. And right over here's the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.